We're going live. Let me know when.
We are live.
Well, good evening, everyone. It is indeed a pleasure to have you participate with Praxis Circle Network on this evening. I am happy to have some of the finest women I know in Christendom to grace our platform on this evening. And let me start by saying happy belated Mother's Day, my sisters. I pray that your Mother's Day was heavenly like mine. I had a wonderful Mother's Day, and I hope that each of you had a wonderful Mother's Day. And knowing the gentlemen in your lives, I know that you did. I know that each of you had wonderful Mother's Day. And so our viewing audience, our virtual audience, we are honoring these sisters today, and we're giving God the glory because they are women under the banner of Mothers Balancing Family, Ministry, and Careers. Mothers holding up all of these balls in the air at one time and doing it in the spirit of excellence. So I would like to say to each of you, call a friend, call a neighbor, tell them to get on, that Praxis is on, and we have some of the finest women I know across the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church and directly the 3rd Episcopal District sharing with us on this evening. And I'm going to start with well, we have people here from Kansas City. We have folk here from Chicago, Evanston, Joliet, Illinois, St. Louis, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas, right? Did I get it right?
Kansas City, Missouri.
Say that again.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City, Missouri. All right. All fine women of God who know who they are in God and have chosen excellent careers. And I think that's where we'll start on this evening, ladies, talking about your careers, how you got started. And I think what we'll do, since we have a new graduate that just crossed the stage the other day by the name of Reverend Gail McMason. Congratulations, my sister. She's just completed her bachelor's degree. And I know where she's going after crossing over from getting her bachelor's. I know where she's going. She's going on to seminary to continue to do what God has called her to do. So let's start with our pastor on this team, Reverend Gail McMason. Reverend Mason, you know, I share you with Reverend Dr. Faith Allen. I know she is mama number 1, but I have to be mama number 2.
All right.
So I don't want Dr. Allen to call me after this platform is over, telling me I'm trying to take her child. But so I want her to know that I'm sharing you. I don't mind being number 2. So start by telling us about your journey, your career, and who you are, please, ma'am.
All right. So again, as Dr. Essie says, my name is Reverend Gail McMason. My journey started about 12 years ago now. I accepted the call to preach the gospel when I was 23 years old. And at that time, I really didn't know which way God was going to lead me in it. I just knew that God had called me to the ministry, and so I obeyed. And from there, that was in 2010. And then in 2014, I became ordained a local deacon. And I said, okay, Lord, all right, what's next? 7 months later, Bishop Williams sent me to my first church. And so, it was an opportunity to get my feet wet in pastoring, and I really did enjoy it. I had a very successful year that year. However, I chose to not go back, but to rather, do some more things that I wanted to do. And so after that, then let's see, maybe 2014, 16, 19. All right. So then 19 came, and I was received traveling elder orders. And I said, okay, God, where am I going? God said, okay, you're going to sit down for a year. Okay. So I sat down for a year. And then last year I was appointed to Russell Chapel Christian Methodist Episcopal Church, where I am now the very proud pastor. And if Bishop Williams is watching, please send me back there next year. Or Lady Carmen, put in a good word for your girl. So really, that's where I am. That's my journey. I have never felt as complete or as whole as I do right now. Yeah. It's an amazing feeling being a servant of God in this capacity. And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Wow. Wow. Tell us something about when you're not pastoring. I see on your resume that you also do some community work with the homeless and elderly. That's down my lane, girl.
Yes. So I am an advocate with Sankofa for Kansas City. And we advocate on behalf of the homeless. We advocate on behalf of those who do not have health care, elderly, anyone who's marginalized. We are right there in the thick of it, and not just in the sense of just, talking about it. No, we're protesting. No, we're having meetings with city managers, with the mayor, asking them their policy and procedure and holding them accountable for the things that they say that they're going to do. And also with that social justice, that is God's work all day long.
Yes,
and so as part of that, I have grown also, I feel like, in my pastoring, because it's all kind of, just coming together for me. Yes. And not only that, but also getting a better understanding of Jesus, because he did a lot of social justice.
Yes.
And so that's what I do with Sankofa for Kansas City. In addition to that, I am an Airbnb host. Okay. Yes. And so I enjoy doing that. What else do I do? I'm kind of like the jack of all trades. I have a lot going on. I assist my husband in his business. He's a carpenter, mason remodel in Kansas City. And so, of course, I'm a mother too. So those are things that I do outside of pastoring.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. I love that homeless and elderly piece. You reminded me a little bit of some of the stuff that I used to do when I worked for HUD, caring for the homeless and elderly and persons who were mentally impaired. Which is a good program that's still going on right now. So let me go on and move on. Since we're talking about careers, let me go to our next person, a minister in our Zion, Minister Brittany Adams. And what is that new name? You have a new name now, don't you, girl? Don't you have, the Lord has given you a new name?
Yes, Crutcher.
Say it again.
The last name is Crutcher.
Crutcher. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Minister Brittany Crutcher, a woman of God who has been busy in the life of the church. Shall we say all of your life from what I can see? Tell us about your interesting career. What have you been doing in your life, in your schooling, and what you're doing, all that research stuff. Help me out.
So thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Essie.
Sure.
So just the title encompasses a lot. It encompasses a lot more than what it actually states. So it's a research study coordinator. And I used to work in the Department of Allergy and Immunology. I was doing a lot of clinical trials with asthma and allergy patients, both adults and children. And then we had acquired a very high profile COVID clinical trial. So both COVID positive and then COVID negative who were had a high risk exposure. And then actually just last week, I transferred to the Department of Urogynecology, which deals with a lot of the issues that happen in women of all ages, but they try to put it into a smaller age bracket, which they say like older women. So it deals with a lot of like urinary incontinence issues, pelvic prolapse, and things like that. So there's a lot of the studies are more so device and surgical. And so pretty much what I do is it's like a manager of a clinical trial. So we receive it, we have to submit to what they call an institutional review board, and put together workflows, protocols, standard operating procedures, and pretty much just help with managing the overall flow. So we help in making sure that everything flows according to what the protocol states, along with also managing large budgets and then also, just having that patient interaction as well. So assisting with study follow-up visits and things like that. How I got to this career, this was not my first choice, to say the least. I actually wanted to be a coroner, of all things. But yeah, I went, my undergrad degree is in biology, and then I went on to get my master's in anatomy. But the Lord had other plans because I became pregnant with my soon to be 10-year-old.
Amen.
So stopped going to school for a little bit, and then started working full time, and then got into research. And two things I never said. I said I would never work in research and I would never work in gynecology. And what do you know? So yeah, and a couple years ago, I received my master's in clinical research administration. And last year, I received my certificate as a clinical research professional. So I think I am pretty much done with schooling for right now. But yeah, that's pretty much, just how, God maneuvered in my career in that aspect. And then just as it relates to ministry, I believe I have been, it's been a long journey with ministry too. Because in the midst of me finding my career, I also, became really involved with the church, with the CME church, serving, on the local, district, regional levels.
Yes.
As the young adult president, so, and also as a minister.
And where are you now on your journey in ministry? What level where are you?
I'm a local preacher. So yes, I am a local preacher. I'm not on trial. If you ask my pastor / my husband, he'll probably throw in yet. But yes, I'm a local preacher.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I'm going to let the secret out, y'all, that Minister Brittany and I share something on the same day. We share something the same day. The only difference of definitely is the years. We share the same birthday. And
yes, we do.
So we have that in common. So I just want to throw that in. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and in terms of your career and how the Lord has allowed you to mash the two together, your 9 to 5 or your Yeah, I should say you're 9 to 5. We'll say 9 to 5 because we know sometimes when you're at that level, it's not 9 to 5. It can be any time, so but you've been able to put your spiritual with your physical or your natural and blend the two. And I must say, just observing you under the leadership of your father, presiding elder Adams and Lady Adams, you are doing a fantastic job. And now you stepped over, girl, when you married one of the most brilliant minds in our Zion. I've observed your husband, Reverend Crutcher, for a long time at a distance. And I thank all of you guys, all of you ladies, excuse me for saying guys, all of you ladies are on track. You're on track. You headed somewhere in life. You're headed someplace in life, and you definitely some of the leading ladies that I know in the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church. So thank you, Lady Minister Brittany, Lady Brittany, Lady Crutcher, for sharing. I like that lady thing. I just think you can't say too much about first ladies for me. I call our first lady Lady C. And I'm hoping everybody catch it, because Lady C is the one. Hey, Lady C, I know you're out there someplace. God bless you. God bless you. And bless you also, Bishop. Bless you also. So let us move now. Let's see, who would like for me to call on them next? Anyone? Or are you waiting on me? All righty, I'll do that. Let me ask Lady T, if she wouldn't mind going next. Tell us about yourself and about your career. And I gotta say this before she says it. Her father is one of my good friends. Her daddy is a good friend of mine. We served together for years as presiding elders in the Michigan, Indiana region. That's all I'm going to say. Come on, Lady T, and talk to us about your career.
Yes, and thank you for this opportunity. I'm so excited to be here with you and these other fantastic women. And I apologize, my dog is in the background going crazy, so if you all hear, sincere apologies. But yeah, as you mentioned, I've grown up in the church because my dad has been a pastor all of my life. My sister's like as long as I can know back. So yes. But as far as my career goes, I think similar to what others have shared on the call. I had, when I thought about when I was growing up and I thought about what I would do, it was much different than what I am actually doing now. So I actually graduated high school pregnant with my oldest daughter, who is 13. And so I entered undergrad with a week-old daughter. So I started my college career with the intentions of going to school for psychology. And that quickly shifted about halfway through to receiving my undergraduate in finance. And then I went on to receive my my MBA from Webster University. And so currently now I work at the Federal Reserve Bank. I have been there for about 6 years. And I support the Department of Treasury with a few of their public facing websites. And, my mission is just to help the public have access to federal financial information in a way that's understanding and that they can digest it easily. And so I do user research, marketing, branding work. Yeah, so that's kind of where my passion is. I of course
we can't hear you.
I muted. Sorry.
Okay.
I was just saying that, of course, I also love the church, the CME Church specifically, because of all of the great, things that we are doing to support God's work. And so I am currently the president for the St. Louis Ministers, Spouses, and Widows Department,
Oh,
representing,
I didn't know that.
representing some amazing women. Yes, yes.
Yes. Wow.
Yes, and I'm attempting to think of what else I can share.
In terms of your career,
Yeah.
handling money, being a banker lady is key in the life of our Zion. That
Yes.
is so good to know that you have a wealth of information in the financial area. I'm telling you, y'all some powerful sisters up in here. Y'all some powerful sisters, and you role model your gifts and graces for our Zion, and I want to thank all of you for that. Let me move now to and thank you, Lady T. I like that Lady T thing. I like it. I know who called you that first. That young man that I've known down through the years. We'll talk about him a little later. But I like Lady T, and then I like Lady Moore. Would you mind going next? Dejada, that first name, Dejada.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Is there a history behind your name before you share your career with us?
Oh, wow. Thank you for asking. And thank you for having me here, Dr. Essie.
Sure.
This is awesome. Simple truth of my parents created my name from an old proverb of morning child. And from what my parents tell me, Dejada is, and I don't know the dialect of Africa that it came from, but it symbolizes morning child. I don't know if that message really met my biological self, because I'm not always a morning person, but God is good and he keeps rising me up every morning anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you. Yeah, Dejada, and like Lady T, I've been kind of, dousing in between what kind of names people should use with me. And, I answered by Jada, and I think some of the congregants call me Lady D, but, really I'm just a child of God. So just don't call me, as they say, don't call me late for dinner. Isn't that that's the thing? That's the most important
cliche,
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, happy to share about my career. I love being in the space with so many powerful women, independent business women, and just deep thinker, and just to understand that the trajectory of their lives has brought them to such a place as this. I don't have the same story as many, but I hope that my heart is the same as others. I grew up in Colorado. I got my undergrad at University of Colorado out there in Colorado Springs. And like many folks after their undergrad decide, hey, I'm done. I've done it. I'm good. And so I started my career in media, mass media, and public relations. So spent a lot of time out in Denver and in Colorado Springs doing radio and doing promotions and doing a lot of those types of jobs. But I don't think I really found my footing until I got a little more settled, probably late 20s. So when I finally realized I got to stop messing around in the world and really get serious about what God is trying to do with my life, I met my husband. He and I both were, for some reason, God put us together and had a plan for us, because it was nothing but the Lord that brought us together. And we started, we got married in 2000. Oh, let me look at 2006. we've been on that journey, and it wasn't intended that we would join ministry. But God had a better plan for us. And in 2010, 2011, we joined the CME Church out in Denver, Colorado. And it's been nothing but just a joy ever since. Ministry is important to me, and so much so, I kind of find a way to weave it into my career as well. So I have, since that journey, I've joined as a HR director in a couple of different sites from Kansas. Now I'm in Illinois, and I got to say Illinois is right without the S, Illinois. And
it's all right. That's okay.
I'll get better. So currently I serve as the HR director here at Lawndale Christian Health Center, which gives me that opportunity to just speak truth in the way that God has given it to me, to the people that I can care for, and really be able to impact not only their career and financial objectives, but their spiritual life as well. So it's, I don't know, God is just always working on me and always having a hand in the life that I have. And so I don't know if this will be the final step of my journey, but wherever he says for me to go, I'm at that point. I just go.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, you too are married to a powerful young man who speaks his mind and don't mind doing ministry. And I have fallen in love with him at a distance.
Good.
I don't know him personally, like I know some of the others, but I love his spirit. I love your husband's spirit, how he loves the church, he loves the people of God. And so I too can see a great future for him. All we have to do is, as we know, is love God and love God's people, and prepare, and the sky is the limit. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Lady Jada. Is that good for you?
That works. That works.
Jada, lady, I like that too. Lady
Thank
Jada.
you.
And our final speaker on this subject is a young lady who is married to a preacher that swings from the chandeliers, y'all.
Right.
That young man just preached like he has lost his mind. A few months ago, I was watching Pastor Shine, and he reminded me so much of his dad and his grandfather. So our final speaker is Lady Shine. Lady Shine. I like that. Tell us about yourself, Lady Shine. Your career and stuff.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me here as well. And I kind of, just to start a little bit, I actually, the church that Antoine pastors is actually where I grew up, which is St. Peter CME Church. So I have been with the CME Church ever since I was a little girl. And so I did, give my life to the Lord at that church and have been a member for a very long time. For my career, I always knew that I wanted to work with babies. I always knew I wanted to work with children. So I went to UMKC and got my Bachelor of Science in Nursing. And I have been a nurse for, I believe, 13 years now.
Wow.
And yes, I have done a lot of different things. I've done mother baby, I've done family practice. I've worked with eyes. I've also been a Kansas health screener. So I went in and surveyed nursing homes. So the good thing about nursing is you can go and do a lot of different things, which I love about it. So right now I'm at a children's hospital, and I work in the ear, nose, and throat clinic. So if your children have ever had ear tubes or got a lima bean stuck in the nose or something needs to come out of their ear, they come to see us. And so I just really, really enjoy it. And it makes it easy to go to work every day. So that's the joy of my career.
Wow. Oh, that's very interesting that you like working with infants and children.
Yes.
Children. I also see that you sing in the choir.
Yes.
At your church.
When I was pregnant, I kind of had to lean off of it just a little bit in the later months. And then of course with COVID, I haven't been able to rejoin, but yes, that was something that I love to do, working with the choir and the praise team, but I still, even through COVID, have been able to work with the health ministry. So I'm still as active as I can be.
Yes. And the praise team too. Did you say praise team or dance team? Which one did you say?
The praise team, praise team, just the singing.
Yes. Wow. How wonderful. You all are so versatile.
Mhm.
All of these gifts and graces you have, you are so versatile. Let me say to two of our persons who are out there watching, thank you for being there, being out there. Wave at me if you hear me. Wave at me, yeah. And the young lady with a hand at her mouth, come on, wave. Or maybe she, hey, we're happy to have you on with us. Happy to have you on. Thank you all so much for sharing your career journeys, with us on today. Now let me move to our next phase. You know, we have had to deal with some stuff since this COVID thing. We've had to deal with COVID for over a year. And if, well, no, you're not in my age category, but for my age category, we were really, really trying to go and get those shots because at first they were, the CDC and all of them was talking about, let the elderly get the shots first, let them go and get it. And so, I want to say that the Lord opened up an avenue for me to get my first shot in January of this year. I got my first shot and then my final shot in February. And I felt somewhat complete, you know. So my next concern is tell me what challenges have you had to face with your child or your children during COVID? How have you managed? And let me start with you, Lady Shine. No, I won't start with you. I stop with you. So let me go back and ask Lady Jada if she would open with that. How have you dealt with this COVID situation pandemic that we find ourselves in around your children, and you can include your husband too if you want to. I forgot to include mine when I was sharing, but I made sure he got his shots too, y'all.
Yeah. You know, it's been an interesting time for us. I think just like everybody, you know, it's just, you look back a year ago and first off, thanking God that we made it, right?
Yes.
There's, you know, for us and in many of your families, you know, there's several of our members that did not make it to this year. And so the personal impact is heavy, you know, and so working in a city, you know, we transitioned in the middle of a pandemic, right? We were living in rural Kansas, and where in that space the pandemic didn't exist there, you know, in their minds, you know, and so
okay.
You know, it was a different type of mindset. And then we moved to Illinois in the summer and got hit with the reality that it's a very serious epidemic that we had to take in consideration. The impact for my kiddo and my family. The biggest thing for us has been just trying to acclimate ourselves to what we need to do. How do we protect ourselves? Being mindful of who we interact with. My poor kid who was doing remote school in Kansas and then came to a new state to do remote school again, and not having the opportunity to meet friends and make friends and meet people. That took a toll on her and took a toll on us. Probably just now kind of coming out of that, you know, stuff. And so when I think about what even the vaccine, right? The vaccine process and how important that was. I'll tell you a little story. We drove down to Kansas last week for my mother-in-law's birthday, and got there and said, "Did you take your vaccine? Did you get that vaccine?" "Oh, no, I hadn't made the appointment." We making that appointment. We getting in there. It's so important. And it's so, it was important for us, but it's also important for us as leaders in our community, leaders in our church, and especially as Black women,
Mhm.
Black folks, we got hit pretty heavy.
Yes.
And so we needed to step up and do something and take our stand in the line to get that shot. So I'm fully vaxxed and
Oh,
I'm happy about it.
all right. That sounds good to me. So primarily you've been just working with your daughter to
Yeah.
to
So
make mm-hmm.
yeah, so she's 11, right? And
Right.
junior high. Ooh, man.
Good as she can be.
Ooh, she had a hard time not being able to see folks and be around folks, and so that was that was the biggest challenge for us in our particular family adjustment
Okay.
space.
Okay. All right. And
And
she's
it was,
doing pretty good now? Or,
we think so. We think so. Having they allowed kids to come back and do hybrid school in person in March, and so first time her going and being in a classroom with other kids her age and getting to meet folks. And I don't know, from a parent perspective, I still want to keep her in a bubble a little bit longer.
I understand.
But they gotta live, they gotta learn and see the world a little bit.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
So grateful.
And she's as smart as she can be. When is the last time she recited something? Because when I met her in Kansas City at a conference, she commanded the floor when she opened her mouth, and I said, "Lord, look at this child." So
She can.
has she had any opportunities yet at church? Just to
Yeah, since coming into Joliet and serving, she, and I think some of our folks, even on this call, could attest, some have deemed her Pastor Sharan.
I love it.
She can command a lot of attention and space. We're grateful for that because she is developing to be a leader.
Yeah,
But she's,
absolutely. That's what you took it out of my mouth. Those are leadership skills.
man, oh man, she serves on the steward board and helps count the money. So, Sister T, you got somebody who's got to learn that
Wait a
money.
minute. So she's already a junior steward in the church? My
Yes,
Lord,
yes.
today.
She goes and doles out those checks.
Check them out.
Go get your
Oh,
paycheck.
oh,
She
wow.
loves it.
Really?
So
How
it's been a great move for her to be in Joliet, to be at St. Mark. St. Mark has just wrapped her in their arms, and we're so grateful for the love that they pour out to her and
yes.
our family.
Wow. What a blessing. What a blessing. What a blessing. I hear the word timing. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. So then Lady Crutcher, talk to us about the challenges that you've had with your child at this time of COVID, in this time of COVID.
So I mean, I would probably more so term it as like adjustments
Okay.
more than anything.
All right. Good.
Because when it first started, trying to balance taking on a a high profile convalescent plasma COVID trial, along with a child that was doing remote learning, there were sometimes where it was stressful. I was working at a lot of hours, working
Yes.
probably 14, 15-hour days
Mhm.
initially, and also just trying to make sure that my son would get through the third grade,
Yes.
because when this all happened, he was finishing up third grade. And so and now it's, I can see that it has taught him a lot of like self-discipline, although we still have moments,
Right.
but just really trying to one, teach him initially just what COVID was.
Okay.
When, and even when I was at the hospital working around COVID patients, just, the first thing you want to do when you get home is you want to hug your child. and you want to talk to them. Well, the first thing I had to do when I got in was I had to tell everybody to move out of the way. And I had a designated bathroom because I had to, take my work clothes off, put them in a bag, and then go take a shower. And then, after that, wipe down the bathroom and everything. And then I could interact, with the family and with my son. So that was challenging, as well. And then just even, my son would even say, Mommy, I don't want you to get COVID because I don't want you to die, so it was really tough just trying to navigate through that. But, I just, definitely relying on God and, just trying to and educating my son on that as well. In the midst of all of that was one of the bigger adjustments. But I can say that, now he's almost done with fourth grade. And he sticks with remote learning just because when they did the hybrid learning, logistically, keeping a child in school for 2 hours every day was just not working. It wouldn't work for us. So we had a plan already set in place of taking my son here to grandparents one day or staying at home another day. So we were able to keep that structure, but he's been able to learn how to play the clarinet remotely and has done a fine job. And his even just seeing his scores with testing and things like that, he's been able to be really, really stable and still been able to succeed, in the midst of all of this. And it's amazing what children catch on to and just how much they comprehend and grasp. Because, initially you educate about COVID, but then once they get it, it's just like, oh, Mommy, don't forget your mask. Or, no, we can't do this. You have to wash your hands. So sometimes I'm reminded on things to do, because he's aware, and he's come to educate himself, and then of course being educated in school on COVID and just how to stay safe in the midst of all that. So a lot of adjustments more than anything, but I'm grateful for a village, a wonderful support team. I'm grateful for my husband in the midst of all of this, and just the perseverance of my son. I do have to give him kudos. I mean, to be able to continue to succeed in the midst of all this.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that with us on today. Reverend Gail, I think you have 4 children. In fact, I know you have 4 children. How has it been for you in terms of adjusting or the challenge of COVID in your household, dealing with COVID in your household?
Okay. So actually we have 6. We have a blended family. The oldest 3 are adults. Are responsible for them. Praise God. The youngest have been at home with me. And I thank God that I do not have a regular 9-to-5 job, or else I know that would have been a whole other ordeal. So praise God for that. That was one good thing, that I was already at home. And then my husband being self-employed, he was pretty flexible. But one of the challenges for me, the main thing I feel, was becoming a teacher. With my 3 children. I mean, at that point, when they shut everything down, at first the school sent home learning packets because they hadn't set up an online program just yet. And so I was responsible for going, through those things with them. And so here's my thing: while I know how to read and I know how to do math the way that I was taught, the way that math is taught right now is completely different. In addition to that, there are other things that are taught in a completely different way. And I just really felt very inadequate. And I also felt like as a mother, I was doing my children a disservice because I felt that I really wasn't able to give them what they needed. And so in addition to that, I would also say just the social expectations of being a wife, of being a mother, now being a teacher, in addition to all the other hats that we wear. So I'm the cleaner, I'm the cook, I'm the encourager, I'm the wife, I wash all the clothes, so really the pandemic to me was very overwhelming, in the sense of being a woman and taking on all those additional roles in addition to the needs of other people. And so those are just a few of the challenges that I can think of.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds familiar. And, and again, overwhelming. In fact, I think COVID has been overwhelming for all of us. It has been something psychologically. And I admired that little brother Charles went and got him a horn to play to help himself out. I started singing in the backyard again. I have not done solo work and I don't know when, but when COVID hit, I found myself out in the backyard singing my heart out, trying to, find a safe haven.
Absolutely.
To deal with COVID and making sure. I had 4 nieces to contract COVID in the South. And thank God they had no previous existing conditions. And the Lord blessed them to drink tea, when they had us drinking the tea and what was it? It was tea and any kind of tea with lemon and what's that other stuff they had? I almost forgot all the stuff that they had us drinking, but it was a lot of stuff. My daughter sent a menu, a recipe rather, from New York to Mama have them all to drink this. And they drank tea till they could not drink tea anymore. And I'm happy to say that all of them are up and back on their jobs doing what they normally do. So with that being said, Lady T, how have you managed COVID or your children during this COVID season?
Yeah, I think like ditto to what Reverend Gail said, because it was a huge adjustment with a lot of challenges. We have 3 children, and all 3 of them are home now doing virtual learning. And it was just a huge adjustment. As you said, like you become the cook, the teacher, and when you have children who learn differently, and they're used to a style, they want their own space sometimes, and having all 3 of them, and then trying to cater to each of them and their needs, it is a challenge. And I do thank God for my husband. I thank God for him and the co-parent that he is, and our village as well, because I think at first, it's, as Black women especially, like we're so used to just being like superheroes, right? We're just used to taking it on. And I appreciate the village, our village saying, hey, whatever we can do to help, what days, of course, him and I first are like, okay, how are we going to switch days? Like, how are we going to do this? Who's going to be on? Because I still got to work at the job. You still got to go to the church, like we still have these to do as well. But then for, our village stepping in and saying, how can we help? If you guys are feeling so overwhelmed, let us know. They can spend a week in Chicago. They can, come to, go up the street to my mom's house or my grandma's house, or, go to Michigan for a while and be with my dad. And I'm just grateful for that as well, because it was a time, where it's like, okay, we all need counselors. Like we all need to figure out who we need to talk to, and just so that we can have a moment, and outside of the people, a year and a half almost of just being with each other is intense. So I mean, and we thank God that we didn't, lose anyone or anything like that. So of course we're grateful. But at the same time, that doesn't, take away from some challenges that were there.
That's right. Well, I'm so thankful that you all are just so transparent, sharing your journeys through COVID, because as Lady Jada said, many people did not make it. And as the songwriter says, we are some of them who did. God has blessed us to make it through COVID. And I lost a cousin, um, a special child in Florida. My first cousin's son was 30, and he was a special child. And we thought he was going to make it, but he did not make it. And so I too can attest to losing someone to COVID. And also for family members getting victory over COVID at the same time. It has been a challenge for us. When we look at that, there are over 500,000 plus persons who are deceased in America from COVID. God has really blessed us to make it thus far by faith, and also by listening and learning from the scientists. I pray for those persons out there who don't want to get vaccinated. I pray for them that hopefully one day they will open up and go and get some shots, because otherwise they're going to have to stay in the house. Because now is my understanding from what I've seen on CNN that they are also offering. In fact, my 14-year-old grandson went to get his first shot today, and my 17-year-old grandson is going tomorrow to get his first shot. So, we have got to be wise and care for ourselves and our villages. So let me move now to Lady Shine. Lady Shine, I know it had to be somewhat difficult for you working in the hospital. Tell us about it, dealing with COVID, and your child, and of course the babies that you have cared for.
Right. Working in a hospital when COVID shut everything down, it really shut everything down. We had to switch to telehealth appointments, and we're just starting to get back into the swing of seeing people in person again. And then also we had to sit down with my husband and say, they're going to have us all hands on deck doing whatever needs to be done. So if I need to screen some people, if I need to go to another place, I'm going to be more exposed. So I had to decide, do I still want to continue to do this? And I made the decision to do it and just be very cautious, just like Minister Crutcher said, come in, just like, don't touch me, let me go to the bathroom, and get all cleaned up. So that was a big change. And I know you had spoke about changes with your husband as well, definitely with the church going from in person to being virtual has been a big change as well when you're just switching over everything. So thankfully it has worked out, but it's had to be a lot of kinks being worked out along the way. One thing with my Ananiah, who's almost 2, is we were planning to actually put her into like a daycare or something like that. And our pediatrician was like, well, just wait till the cold and flu season is over. And then right after that, COVID hit. So it changed our, where we had to change our schedule, it changed our plan. So we had to rework some things. And thankfully, my husband is able to watch her at times when I have to go to work. So it's just a matter of us all coming together to make one thing work.
Wow. Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm glad that you all have managed well, even under the stress and the strain. You managed well to get this to this point. I just give God the glory for getting us all out and through this time. And now, in terms of COVID, they're offering folk different little goodies to just come and get your shot. So it's a blessing to be able to get the shots and get them free. So if you're out there in our audience, in our virtual audience, and you have not gotten your COVID vaccination, let me ask that you please do so, that you get your vaccination, because you have loved ones who want to have you around them for a long time. Please, I got my first one in January, and I felt only the symptoms that I felt. I felt a little sleepy, and so I rest. Uh, that day I felt like I wanted to just rest in bed. So that's what I did. I told my husband, I said, I'm not hurting any place. I just feel a little sleepy. And so I stayed in bed. When I got my second vaccination in February, I got a burst of energy, y'all. After I went to the hospital and got that shot, I went grocery shopping. I shopped, and I said, I'm going to go on and get this out of the way in case I have whatever these folk are saying you have with the second vaccination. And I never had it. I never had any of the symptoms that people were having. I had just a tidbit when I got home that day and finished shopping, a few chills. And it wasn't even enough to have a glass of tea. I said, oh, okay. So from that day to this day, I haven't had any other symptoms. So I'm saying to our virtual audience, please don't be afraid. Please move forward and get your vaccination. Get your vaccinations for yourself and for your families, please. With that being said, let us move on to talk about some of the adjustments or challenges you've had to face as a mother and pastor and ministers with congregational life. Congregational life. Congregational life. Maybe, I think I almost can answer this for y'all because we're not in the churches yet, right? But you have to be, you've had to be on Zoom, Facebook Live. So how has the new level of church, congregational life been at your church or in your home? Let me start with Lady T. Lady T, how has congregational life, has it allowed you to dress from top and have your house shoes on and pajamas on at the bottom? How have you adjusted this in dealing with your children and your husband?
Yes, I think that is one of the benefits of being remote, is that, I can have on, pajamas on the bottom and dress up and dress up top. And no one would know otherwise, unless I told them. I don't think that we have faced any challenges with congregational life right now during the pandemic, because thankfully my husband is like a tech guru, and like also he is on it with everything. And I don't think that we have missed out on a Sunday or a Bible study or a or anything like that. I will say that it definitely is an adjustment for having the children understand that they need to get up and pay attention to church,
Okay.
Yes, we are at home, and yes, you could watch church from your bed, but we're not going to do that. We're going to get up, we're going to pay attention, we're going to be in sync with God's word. That's not going to change, So I think that is the only alteration that we have had to make. I am interested just to see how, because my children have been virtual for so long, just when it is time to go back to public, go back into church, or how their adjustment is going to be around people. I think even still as adults, we are still trying to figure out, okay, still no hugging. CDC says that we can hug as long as we've been back, as long as you've been vaccinated, but how are you having those conversations? Nobody really feels comfortable yet. So, just figuring those type of things out. I think that that'll be an adjustment for the children, because especially Tobias, the youngest, he is definitely a lover and a hugger. And so, I'm still grabbing him, wait, don't do that yet, So yeah.
Okay. It sounds like you guys are doing good with virtual churching. I know I'm enjoying it. I just go from town to town, city to city, and shout over here and pat my hands over there. I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying watching our congregations all across our Zion. So let me ask Lady Crutcher, um, would you like to address the subject of congregational life at this time?
Yes. And I'll speak from two separate dynamics. So, because when COVID hit, I was still, and we had to go virtual or remote. I was still at my dad's church. So, the everything was virtual. And I see my mom is on. I commend her because she is the tech team.
Yes, she is.
Along with a couple of others that were handling the flow of service.
That's my
at
soror.
St. Paul.
That's my soror. Mm-hmm.
And so, just learning really and trying to help her navigate. I can definitely say I do love the power of mute. And so then and during that time, I was a little bit more lenient and allowed my son to actually sleep in. And so he kind of got out of that routine of, going to church and, listening to the word. But after I got married and now becoming a member of New Hope, we do go into the church, but it's really just the praise and worship team. And then, we have the tech team. So we do virtual. And I have to commend my husband because he's a pulpit preacher. So he enjoys being in the church and preaching from the pulpit. And so getting my son or getting our son back into that habit was quite the adjustment. But I think, because he was already used to it, it wasn't too bad. But now we're just trying to get him off of the iPad. And so, but that's really been it, related to that adjustment. So I've seen both sides of it all, and I enjoy both in all honesty.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I'm sorry about that.
Oh,
that was
okay.
my husband forgot that I'm doing ministry right now, and I had to let him know I'm zooming.
No worries.
Okay, so let me ask Lady Shine, how has it been for you, congregational life at this time of Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube?
Right. I think one of the big things has just been us sitting Ananiah down in front of the computer or our phone and getting her to realize that the person she sees in person is the same person on the on the video screen. It's like, Dad, this is Dad. And so that way she can, actually put the two together. But another adjustment, just, not being able to go in the church and be as active as I wanted to. And it's just for Antoine, he always wants to be, fair, to everybody. So he would say, if I am asking one of my members to not bring their wife, I can't bring my wife. So just being in those situations where you might want to be there to support, but you can't during that COVID time. So I would just say those two were the biggest changes, making sure that Ananiah still knew a little bit of what was going on, even though she couldn't be there to see him in person.
I got you. Wow, that's wonderful. That is so wonderful. Lady Jada had to step away, so we're going to move on now to one of the questions that I think is key for you, being as busy as you are in life. Um, and as I reflect back over my life, one of the things that is key and that helped me was trying to find some space and time just for me, just for myself, self-care. And as I look back over my life, I want to thank God because there were days that I didn't do too good. I'm just confessing in terms of self-care. I kind of learned to do self-care as I grew on in the Lord, uh, to take some time to just for myself. So what are you all doing as busy professionals with powerful husbands, with careers and in ministry, with a husband owning his own business, and the rest of you who got powerful jobs and in ministry yourselves? What are you doing to nurture you? What are you doing in terms of self-care? How are you taking care of yourself? Let me start with Reverend, and I'm just going to say this by faith, Reverend Dr. Gail.
I received that.
I know that's right.
Yeah. All right. So what I am learning to do, Dr. Essie, Mama Essie, is to steal moments. I actually steal if I see an opportunity where my husband is with his girls and I know they're doing their thing, I'll say, you know what, I think I'm going to go get a pedicure. And he's so sweet. He's so nice. He says, okay, well, you just go on. And then other times I will plan to do things with one of my sorors or go to lunch or something like that. I'm learning to steal moments. Just as right now, which this is not a stolen moment, but right now I'm on vacation. I took a vacation from everything. I really haven't been on Facebook, nothing. Mm-hmm. And so I really needed a time to just really let God pour into me. Yes. Because what happens is that a lot of times we're pouring so much out that you will find yourself in a state where you feel empty.
Yes.
And I didn't want to get to that point. Plus, I know God is getting ready to do some new things. And so I needed to position myself to be able to hear from him.
Yeah.
And so saying all that to say, I'm learning to steal moments. I'm learning to take advantage of opportunities. I buy stuff on Amazon and hide it from my husband. I do online shopping. I'm just going to be real. I'm going to be honest. Because I thought about it earlier. I'm like, am I going to be textbook or am I really going to be Gail, for the show? And I said, you know what? I'm just going to be Gail. I'm going to be honest. So just a few examples of how I am learning to do self-care. I'm learning to really love me. A lot of the time as women, we say that we love ourselves, but do you really? Mm-hmm. But do you really? Mm-hmm. And so as part of that, I'm learning to just sit with Gail, work with Gail, look at what's wrong with Gail, and ask God to fix Gail. Yeah. But again, self-care, I'm all about it. I am all about it. Wow. Seriously. Yes.
Wow. Oh, that's a good opening to self-care. That's very good. And it's good that you're learning it now, that you're getting it inside of you, learning that I learned, I don't know. Was I in my 50s? I had to be in my 50s when I really learned that I needed to take time for me, to give myself some me time. I had to be somewhere up in there, because before then I was really I called myself a superwoman. I was holding up all these balls in the air at one time and not dropping any of them. And but when I got caught a cold, or when I got down, I was down. And when I was down, everybody was down.
That's what I was going to say, Dr. Clark George. When the wife gets down, when the mother gets down, the whole house is down. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And so I learned. I said, "Wait a minute, now, girl, you're not getting any younger here. You got to learn how to pace yourself. Know when." I think it was, who was that? Sang that song. The girls. It was 3 of them. I ain't no superwoman. Wasn't it? Gladys Knight. Who else was it? Gladys. Oh, I'm before y'all time. I forgot. It was Gladys Knight. Not Diana.
It was
Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston's aunt, cousin, and Patti LaBelle, I think. And they put together this song. I ain't no superwoman. I think it was them, or is it? I can't live with them. I can't live without them, or something. Anyway, all right, I'm off. But I can't remember who did the song. I'm still wrestling with mind fog. That's another thing that I've had to deal with at my age, mind fog. But I am very faithful. Let me say to my they are not paying me. Ginkgo biloba. I don't know if y'all know about ginkgo, but I take ginkgo biloba for my mind to get that mind fog out of the way. And so I wrestle to make sure I hold on to my mind during this time. That's one of the things that I do for self-care. So with that being said, let me ask Lady Crutcher, Minister Crutcher, self-care. What are you doing, busy woman of God, faith and power? What are you doing to take care of thyself as you move along this busy journey of yours?
In all honesty, I rely on my husband.
You take your prenatal vitamins.
That I do remember.
Yes.
But good. I mean, I rely on my husband because
that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. You rely on your husband.
I am a stubborn person when it comes to that. I am constantly on the go. I do not always know when to stop. Okay. So my husband does get on my case, and he's gotten on my case a lot recently, especially when since I am pregnant. Mm-hmm. So the job says 9 to 5. Babe, it's 5 o'clock. I need you to log out.
I love it.
And don't think about logging back in.
He's looking out for you. Praise God.
Yes. So having that time to just be able to, step away from work and be able to relax. Because in all honesty, being a single mom, it was just almost like programmed to where it's just like, you just have to go. And the only time you do rest is literally if your body just fails you and tells you, guess what, I'm not moving. Mm-hmm. So, being able to have somebody that reminds you to do that, is very, very helpful. And, my parents do the same thing where it's just like, okay, did you sit down somewhere? Did you do this? I get a text message. Did you eat lunch? Are you drinking your water? And things like that. So, I am definitely being more mindful and, sometimes even feeling little baby kicks where it's just like, hey, I'm here.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I need you to get it together. Mm-hmm. So definitely it's a work in progress, but it's a work in progress towards something positive. I will also add that I do see a therapist. Okay. And so definitely that's been something that has I look into as self-care, because it's definitely taking that time, that 45 minutes of investing in me and being able to better me, so that way I can be a better person, to be a better mom, be a better wife, just being a better woman of God. So definitely I would say therapy has also been my method of self-care.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful. I think that is a very healthy approach, very healthy approach to self-care. Having someone that you can go to and just peel back the layers is key. That was one of the first thing I did as and when I retired, was to go and enroll in the, clinical pastoral care, which on that Wednesday was our day to just peel back and talk about whatever I wanted to talk about. And I did a lot of crying and letting go. So therapy to me is a means of self-care that is outside of anything else you can get. So that's wonderful. So Lady T, what do you do besides looking beautiful for self-care? Because all y'all some fine young women. So what do you do besides?
Trying to match your fly.
Say that again.
I said, we just trying to match your fly. You
Oh,
know,
go
we
on,
knew
girl.
we was coming on here to be with you. So we said, get it together.
Oh, thank you so much. But for real now, what are you doing?
Well, I agree. I think that I agree with the things that have already been said. And I think that just shows how amazing the women are on this call today because, you know, number one, Reverend Gail mentioned, like, are we going to be ourselves on this call today? Or are we going, are we going to keep it 100% honest? And then, Minister Brittany followed up with, she's seeing a therapist. Like, that is so real. Like, these things are so real. And when we're talking about, still in moments, like literally sometimes it is. Yesterday, our guinea pigs ran out of hay. And I was like, I'm going to get it. That's just because I just wanted to go for a moment. I just wanted to drive to PetSmart and pick up the hay and just have those moments by myself where I could do some self-reflection and, also I was a single mother for a long time and it is so true that you just learn how to keep going. You just do it and do it and do it. And so I do think, I keep saying that I thank God for my husband because he is one who's like, okay, like, are you going to call your friends? You going to go somewhere? You want to go to dinner? Or, like, we're going to take a quick trip somewhere. And, my mom is one who is like, you will not work all night long. Like, you won't get up early and turn on your computer either to meet a deadline that's not realistic, like some additional pressures that you put on yourself. And so I'm just in agreement that I think it is something that I'm still learning. But I thank God for the support system and the village that is encouraging that to continue.
Yeah, I think that's healthy. You all are, you're on target. You're on target. Long as you're on target, you're going to be just fine. When you get over here on this side of 70, of 75, you'll be just fine. Yes, you will. Because you're on target. So Lady Shine, in terms of self-care, what are you doing, sweetheart, besides looking beautiful also?
Oh, thank you. I believe for me, I had to figure out what really was self-care for me. Was it, getting 8 hours of sleep or, doing something else? But for me, I'm just trying to take care of my body and make sure that it's strong so that I can go many more years. So I'm trying to drink more water and eat healthier and just those small things that you can do in the house where you don't necessarily maybe have to always go somewhere. But I relate to Minister Crutcher again when your husband says, have you eaten today? Those kind of things, because you just keep going and going and going and taking care of everybody else and you forget about yourself. So it's just also I am always, I wouldn't say frustrated, but I get upset when it's always like, okay, what am I going to make for dinner today? What am I going to do for dinner today? What do I have to take out for dinner? And I just, grocery shopping and cooking is just stress. So what I do is I do HelloFresh meals. And that's a way of self-care for me. They put it right on your doorstep. You follow the directions. And you feel like a gourmet chef because you made something fabulous and it's something different every day. So I figured out what I did not like to do most, and I figured out a way to remedy it. So that was my self-care.
Wow. I think that's wonderful. Talk to us. What is it called? Hello?
Hello Fresh.
Okay.
It's like you just sign up, you order a certain amount of meals a week, and then they just send them right to your doorstep, and it's already every ingredient that you want that you need in the recipe, and you just make it. So I'm saving time, money, everything.
Wow, I like that. I
Me
can go
too.
online and find that. I can go online and find that.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Okay. Sounds good to me.
Absolutely.
It sounds very good to me. Lady Jada, are you back? I thought I saw where.
I am back. Oh, bless you all. Thank you. My building was shutting down, so they asked me to continue my work elsewhere.
Okay.
I'm working from the car.
Oh, okay. Well, you can still talk. We can. Yeah. So we're talking about self-care right now. So maybe that's a good place for you to come in since you're on your way home. Are you?
Yes, ma'am. I am on my way home, and I am so glad that you're asking me about this because I think I could take some advice on self-care. I think as the year has progressed, I've realized even more that I just haven't done a very good job about that. But when I do well, I spend a lot of time kind of reading or just sitting and watching shows and spending time with hubby. And now that we're in Illinois, we're trying to go to all the fancy restaurants and eat all the good food we can.
Yes.
To me, that's self-care.
Okay. Well, I don't want you really. Are you driving? Are you sitting still? Which one? You driving?
Yeah, I'm driving.
Okay. Well, we're not going to let you. I'm not going to hold you on while you're driving. This is uncomfortable for you?
Oh, I'm fine. I get on the phone a lot while I'm driving.
Okay. Well,
some of the moms shaking their heads.
Okay, as long as you're comfortable, because all right then. Oh, okay. There's a new restaurant. Well, my husband says it's not new. We just haven't been there. But if you're ever in Chicago, all of the persons of your age category is going to a place called Ooh Wee, and it's on 80. I'm giving them a plug, and I haven't eaten their food, but one of the young pastors I know in the area was there Sunday, and he was bragging on the food. So if you're ever in Chicago, we all need to go to Ooh Wee on 83rd and 83rd and Wabash. So maybe when all of this stuff is over and we can really hang out, y'all come down and I'll treat y'all. Oh, listen to me, tell y'all to come down and treat y'all to Ooh Wee. We'll check out Ooh Wee Cafe by our restaurant by ourselves.
We're gonna take you up on that.
Oh yeah, I'm good. My word is good now.
Yes,
I promise you.
Love it.
I promise you, I got a good word. Speaking of a good word, let me say to our audience that we do have a mechanism whereby you can be a blessing to Praxis Circle Ecumenical Ministry by sending a donation to us. And you can see it there on Praxis Circle, the $ Praxis Circle Network. If you want to be a blessing to this ministry, we are a legitimate organization. We're not a jackleg ministry, but we are legitimate 501c3 organization that God has given us to invite persons who are authentic, transformative, and prophetic, and those who are seeking to be, to come on and share with us. And with that being said, I guess we're ready to move now to our last phase of moving towards our closure. And let me ask, how do you see yourself working with your spouses in ministry? Now, I've seen some of y'all throw down. I've seen some of y'all throw down in terms of working in ministry with your spouses, but how do you see yourselves working together? Let me start with Reverend Gail, since she's the pastor and married to this businessman. Let me start with you, Reverend Gail. How are you and Mr. Mason working in ministry together?
So first of all, let me say that God gave me the husband that I needed in order to do what he's called me to do.
Don't you think?
Yes, he really did. I know for some men, it may, kind of feel some kind of way having a wife who's in the position of pastor. But my husband is a man of God, and he has the gift of helps. And when we pull up to the church, the first thing my husband's trying to figure out, what can he fix? What can he clean up? He goes, runs against the vacuum cleaner. Now, just saying all that to say, we've been worshiping outside. But nevertheless, we still go into the building prior to, when he sets up all my equipment and the tents and, everything. He drives me to Columbia because it's about 2 hours from Kansas City, and he drives me back. He says that's his job.
Wow.
And so
Beautiful.
As far as seeing that, I pray that it continues. I pray that my husband would continue to walk in those things that God has called him to, as far as the helps ministry. He's already helped repair things at the church, even though we haven't been in the building, and at the parsonage. I mean, he truly is a very loving man. He is the perfect man for me, for what God has called me to do. So I think we're already kind of there in terms of what I see happening in our marriage as it relates to ministry.
Yes, it makes a difference when you're the pastor and you have a mate who, of course, a man and secure enough to let you do your ministry and honor you in that ministry. It does feel good. As a retired pastor, it does feel good to have a mate that's not intimidated by your gifts and graces, and you're able to flow and do those things that God has called you to do in ministry. So God bless you, Brother Mason. God bless you, my brother. Carry on.
In the grass.
Yes, in the name of Jesus. Carry on in your gifts, So, Lady Shine, how are you managing to assist? I know you told us you sang in the choir and all when the church was open. I know that's a means of assisting your husband in ministry. But let me hear it from you. How are you in helping your husband in ministry?
Right now, I'd say the big thing is keeping him encouraged. And definitely with all these COVID changes, keeping him and just encouraged, and so that he can go out and do what he needs to do, and also just being just that prayer warrior for him, and then also for the congregation, and being someone that they can talk to and feel comfortable. So because he's very approachable, so I want to make sure that everybody feels the same way about me. So that's really what I want to do.
Oh, how sweet. I remember when your husband transferred into the 3rd and Bishop put him on the joint board of finance, and I would have to come as a presiding elder and present my conference claims, I should say apportionments, present my apportionments from my district to him, because he was from another district, You never report to a person from your district that's on the board, but another person for, justification, et cetera, et cetera. So he was always so kind to me.
Yes.
He made me feel so comfortable. Until I told Bishop, I said, Bishop, I just love Reverend Shine. When I go to give my report, he's so kind, and he always said, yes, ma'am. Yes. He had a way of calming me down as he counted what I was breaking and corrected me sometimes, but he did it with so much love.
Yes.
And so much joy until
Yes.
I would always leave his presence knowing that it was okay if I made a few mistakes, and he would correct mine like a razor blade. He was just on it, and so I like the idea that he has this mate now that has that same spirit. God bless you, sis. God bless you. God bless you. So, Lady T, I know y'all doing women worship on Wednesdays, and you out there got folk preaching and carrying on, and you are the narrative or the narrator, really the worship leader for women who worship on Wednesday. Now, I know you involved in the ministry already, but let me hear your rendition of how you're working with your husband in ministry.
Yes, and thank you for blessing us. Was it last week or the week before last?
I enjoyed it. Yes,
thank you. It's funny because being a pastor's kid, I said I would never marry a pastor. So I know this was nothing but God. You know, his hands was all over this. How, you know, and the fact that, you know, he grew up in the Michigan, Indiana, you know, well, not grew up, but he, you know, served in the Michigan, Indiana region.
Powerful.
And my dad is there, and him and I have never met before, you know, like before he came to St. Louis. It just shows how, you know, how much this was all God's plan and his timing. And you mentioned the Women Who Worship Wednesday. That is completely out of my comfort zone. I see myself in ministry and serving the Rebirth Church completely in a supportive role. Like, I just want to be wherever I can help, you know? And so actually leading a worship experience, you know, it definitely is out of my comfort zone, and that is him just sometimes encouraging me to step out of my comfort zone, you know, and you know, see where things go. But yeah, so I definitely see supportive role wherever I can help. I just love to serve. I love to serve God's people and do his work. I do currently hold the title of the director for our outreach ministry, so serving the community. And again, that's just my passion. And so it's definitely a supportive role wherever I can help.
Wow. Well, you too have one of them preaching, a preaching husband, honey. Sometime I think Reverend Pastor Zach rather preach than eat.
Yeah. Oh,
he loved, honestly. Now I pastored him, and so I've watched him. So he's not pretending. He really.
All right.
A lot of times he's misunderstood because he loves church just that much. Honestly, that young man loves church.
Yeah,
I'm not lying, y'all. He's for real.
Yeah, and because I have to, and I think that's another place I should say I support him, is he reminds me to self-care, but I genuinely have to remind him to self-care as well. Good. We were on our anniversary trip, and you know, we're in the Dominican Republic, and he's working. I'm like, babe. You know, church, you know, we love the Lord. We do. He does.
Well, you're absolutely right. You know, to bring him in because he really loves church. I won't use the term driven. I'll say he's passionate. He's passionate about the things of God. Very passionate about the things of God. And so is your husband, Lady Crutcher. Articulate, profound, intellectual. Reverend Crutcher is also all y'all married to these hardworking brothers. Y'all, I mean, brothers who we can, let me put it this way, brothers who we're not ashamed of. You know, men who can just call it and preach under the unction of the Holy Spirit and be clear about what they're talking about. So Lady Crutcher, if you would allow me to call you that for just a moment, how are you working with your husband in ministry, being that you are a minister as well? How is that working out for you?
It's working out wonderfully. And I just take bits and pieces from all of these young ladies that have spoken, you know, as far as encouraging my husband and, you know, praying for him, praying with him. And like me, my husband does not know when to always sit down. So we do have that in common.
Okay.
And so I did tell, you know, I do have to thank God every day because, you know, our relationship and how it manifested, one, like Lady T, I told myself I would not one date a preacher nor marry one. So, you know, and so it's been an amazing journey. And you know, Khalifa, Pastor Crutcher has been truly an answer to my prayers. And yeah, I stopped praying to God for what I wanted. And when I said, God, just, you know what I need.
Yeah.
And here he comes.
Praise the Lord.
So, you know, we met shortly thereafter. And so, you know, we have this thing where we, you know, he's my partner in ministry, but he's my partner in purpose. And so, you know, we bounce ideas off of each other, but he also challenges me because I do like to sit in the background. And so he's kind of like, no, I want you up here. Okay. So I'm just all right. Okay. So, you know, one of the things was, I mean, I call him like the dinner guru. I'm the breakfast guru. Okay. So we do brunch with the Crutchers at the church. And so to be on Zoom and cooking breakfast, doing what I love and, you know, feeding my boys is like, you know, just, it brings me joy. And to be able to do that and fellowship, has been truly a blessing. So, you know, pushing me out of that, out of my little box, to do that. And then also I think, you know, God has called me to really work with youth and young adults. So being able to find ways to, you know, work with the youth and work with the young adults, encourage them and uplift them to help build those relationships as well. Has, you know, I thank my husband, you know, for his support in doing that. And then also, you know, just us working together to be able to continue to move ministry forward. So I thank God every day, you know, we've been able to continue to strive forward in ministry together. And, you know, it's definitely been a great journey and definitely one that's been touched and led by God.
Wow. Again, you all are some power couples. I think all of you are some powerful couples in our Zion. And it gives me a spirit as a senior citizen looking at you all that the church is still emerging into good hands. And I say still emerging because the church is still growing. And it's no telling where you guys are going to end up in ministry at this rate where you are now. And I am just pleased to know you all and to know how much you love God at this time in your life when young folk are out going crazy. You are role models for humankind, that there are parents who have invested in their children, and you role model that before us, that if you raise your children up in the fear and admonition of the Lord, this is how they turn out. And I want to thank you all for being with us on today. You make me feel good about my two kids who are raised in the church and still in church, still working in church. They weren't in my church, but they were working their own soul salvation. They're working their own soul salvation out in their own way. And so it shows that if you raise them up in the fear and admonition of God, they'll turn out all right, even if they go wrong a little bit. You know, because kids go out and do what they want to do sometimes. But for those of you who are listening, don't give up on your children. Do not give up on your children because they have not come in like you think they should, or not doing how you think, and not as faithful in the church yet, how you think they should. Just hang in there and know that all that training that you've put in them, and if you haven't trained them, start now, just dropping, even if they are adults, just drop a nugget of love. Just drop them a nugget of love. Don't push them, just drop them a nugget. Let them know you love them and that you appreciate them. And you hope that they're watching somebody on church every now and then. You know, just give them a nudge. Sometimes that's all they need, is a nudge of love to get on track, So don't be discouraged. Just know that God has you, and he's going to bring your children in to also role model like these young people are on here today. So God bless you, ladies. God bless you. I'm so pleased that you have shared with us on today, and you have role modeled for us what it means to balance motherhood, careers, and power, being married to powerful men and being powerful yourselves. You have role models for us what it looks like in the 21st century. And let me thank you again for being with us. And to our listening audience, if you got on late, you can go back and rewind us on Facebook. You can also look at Praxis Circle Network Ecumenical Ministry on YouTube. Somebody asked me, so why you name the thing Praxis Circle Ecumenical Ministry? And I said, well, because we are in the process of always becoming and growing. And network is that we have sisters on this platform from all around the United States. And I know a network of women from all different ecumenical backgrounds. And most of them, my friends in the virtual audience, are not at this age category. They're at my age category, or a little younger than me, that I have known down through the years. And God has kept us. My therapist, I had her on last month, Dr. Eleanor Miller Stewart. Whenever I'm in need of some special counseling, it's Dr. Eleanor Miller Stewart, who is a certified counselor here in the city of Chicago. My girlfriend, she's certified in long-term counseling. I'm certified in crisis counseling. And so we help each other from time to time. And so let us keep on caring for ourselves, keep on taking good care of ourselves and our families. And again, let me say thanks to each of you for being with us, to our guests, and to those of you who are watching out there, keep on watching. You can see the whole thing all over again. That's the good part about Facebook and YouTube. And so at this time, ladies, would you like to have some closing words, closing remarks before I talk about next month? Any closing remarks from any of you? Y'all good?
Just
Everybody good?
Thank you for this opportunity.
No,
It's
you're
wonderful.
welcome. You're
Yes,
welcome.
Thank you so much.
So much.
This
You're
was
welcome.
such a blessing to my spirit. I really appreciate being able to share with so many awesome women in the ministry. So thank you. God bless you, Dr. Essie.
Oh, thank you so much, Lady Jada. Give your baby girl a hug for me and give the husband a kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say, before we go down on next month, June, we will be honoring men on next month, and we will have all of the brothers who are aspiring for the episcopacy to come on and share their social justice platform with our audience. So June 15th, we're looking forward to have a discussion with Reverend Dr. Philip D. Washington, Reverend Dr. Charlie Haynes, Presiding Elder Paris Lester, Reverend Dr. Ricky Helton, Reverend Dr. Wayne Williams on June 15th at 6 p.m. June 15th, we will have them on to discuss social justice. How do they see social justice in this 21st century? And as candidates for the episcopacy, what is their mission towards social justice? To bring life, healthiness, and wholeness in the life of the CME Church if he is elected bishop. And on June the 29th, we will also have Reverend Dr. Clarence Heath, Reverend Emmanuel Henderson, Presiding Elder Earl Griffin, Presiding Elder Frederick Braddock, and Reverend Dr. Billy Holloway. We are looking to have them on the 29th. We want to give the brothers enough time to exfoliate their mission in terms of social justice in the life of the church. What do they want to show the people of God, how they plan to nurture the people of God in the life of God's ministry if he is elected a bishop in this church? And if any time we need to have persons that will look at the church from a spirit of wholeness, is now. And so I invite you to come and participate and to be with us doing those discussions. Thank you, my sisters, again for being with us and for taking this time to come and share. Give your children a nice hug from me. Tell them Mama Essie said hey, and give your husband a passionate kiss, like I'm going to give mine when he come home. God bless you. Oh yeah, that's love after 75. Hallelujah. There's love after There's still love after 75, y'all. God bless you and God keep you is my prayer. Take care of yourselves. Good night. Woo!